Okay, imagine this. A plane, flight 914. It takes off from New York. It's a sunny day in 1955. 57 people on board, heading down to Miami.
Pretty standard flight, you'd think.
Totally routine. Blue skies, everything's normal, and then poof, just vanishes.
Yeah, vanishes. No Mayday call, no wreckage found later, no signals, nothing.
Just gone into thin air.
And, for 35 long years, that was the story. Just gone. An absolute blank. Families waiting, investigators stumped.
Because with no evidence, it wasn't even really a crash scene. It was just a complete mystery, right? An enduring one.
Exactly. It lingered.
So a lot of you listening probably know this story, Flight 914. It's kind of a classic, maybe an urban legend you've heard, debated online maybe.
Oh, yeah. It pops up everywhere.
But today, we're not just going to retell it. We want to do a real deep dive here, unpack this whole baffling thing, look at the facts, the stories, what makes it stick around.
Get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Right, so let's go back. July 2nd, 1955, standard commercial flight. Seems totally normal in every respect.
And then it just disappears completely. Search teams looked for days, then weeks, covered huge areas of ocean.
Found nothing.
Absolutely zero. A total information vacuum that just stayed that way for decades. Every possible lead just fizzled out.
So eventually the official line was, well, it must have crashed in the ocean.
Presumed lost at sea, yeah. Even though, crucially, not one single piece of debris ever surfaced. It became, one of the biggest cold cases in aviation history.
Okay, so fast forward 35 years, September 1990. This is where the story takes that absolute wild turn.
Right, this is the core of the legend.
An air traffic controller, this time down in Caracas, Venezuela, he spots something weird on his radar. An aircraft just appeared.
Appearing out of literally nowhere, unannounced, unscheduled, and it's asking for permission to land.
Imagine being that controller.
Seriously, and then you hear the pilot's voice crackling over the radio. He sounds totally lost, confused.
What did he say?
He asks, "Where are we?" Then says, "Our flight is 914 from New York. Flight 914.
The missing flight.
Exactly, and they check the plane's registration number. It's a perfect match for the one that disappeared back in 55. Just imagine the disbelief in that control tower.
Okay, so here's where it gets really, really strange. Mind-bending, even. The plane lands.
And it's like a time capsule has just opened up.
The passengers walk out, and they're all still dressed in, 1950s clothes, their wristwatches. Still showing the exact time they took off from New York in 1955.
And the kicker, none of them had aged. Not a single day older than when they supposedly vanished 35 years earlier.
They looked exactly the same, stepping off that plane like no time had passed at all.
I mean, this is where you have to ask, how on earth do you even start to explain something like that? A total break in reality, in time itself.
Right, it's not just a reappearance anymore.
No, that detail, the lack of aging, that's what pushes it beyond a weird event into, a temporal paradox within the story. It fundamentally challenges, everything we think we know about physics and time.
And the weirdness doesn't stop even there. Apparently, just hours after landing, before anyone could really figure things out.
Yeah, the story goes that some unidentified authorities showed up very quickly.
They intercepted the plane, the passengers, whisked them all away.
Yeah.
And then gone again.
Vanished once more, and the entire incident immediately sealed, classified information. Very convenient, wouldn't you say?
It's extremely convenient if you want to fuel a good conspiracy theory.
Exactly. So what's the takeaway here? What does this whole Flight 914 legend really mean? It kind of perfectly taps into our fascination with the unknown, doesn't it?
Totally.
Was it some huge government cover-up, a genuine, hiccup in time that science just can't explain yet?
Or is it just a really compelling story? A powerful narrative that maybe helps us make sense of things we don't understand.
Right. Maybe it feeds that human need to find patterns, even if the pattern itself is this incredible, unbelievable tale. The story lasts because it hits on those deep questions and anxieties about reality.
It's just such a profound enigma, isn't it? Flight 914, whether it's fact or fiction or somewhere in between, it really pushes against our comfortable view of the world. Leaves you with way more questions than answers about time, space, reality.
And if you think bigger picture, it kind of makes you wonder, what else could be out there? What other mysteries are just hidden, waiting to surface?
So the question we have to leave you with is, do you believe it? Could Flight 914 have actually traveled through time? And what does a story like this make you think about what might be possible?